Thank you very much, Ciancora. The Rainy Day Fund, which will be known as the National Surplus Exceptional Contingencies Reserve Fund, is supposed to be an economic buffer. There is currently no money in the country's Rainy Day Fund, as it was rated last year for pandemic expenses. And let's not forget, in this pandemic expenses, pensioners of this country did not receive one extra cent out of this Rainy Day Fund, as so called. I think there are far more needs now rather than in years down the line. We have the fishing crisis, Minister, where last year this government gave away 25% of our pelagic quota on Christmas Eve. It was a real happy Christmas to every fisherman and woman in the country and child in our coastal communities. Not a brown cent. So where was the Rainy Day Fund for the fishermen at that time? They're since counting their losses, severe losses. Farmers, they desperately are in need and have a very, very bleak looking future if your government continues the way it's going at the moment. You kicked the can down the road in relation to give any funding to farmers this year with the budget. And kicking the can down the road is fine. That's fine if people can afford to have the can kicked down the road, but they certainly can't, the farming sectors. And no funding. I can't understand why we're talking about rainy day funds when urgent projects need funding in our country. I had Minister Ryan, I had the Taoiseach here before us, and Micheál Martin in the last number of months continuously pleading for funds for roads in West Cork, and they don't believe in understanding where the need is there. There's bypasses in Shannon, Bandon, Northern Southern Relief Road, Bantry, N71 R586, passing bays, nothing. I think Minister Ryan was honest enough to say maybe 8 to 13 years, he said. No, transport in rural Ireland. There needs to be an investment in transport in rural Ireland. Now there is some talks about there being an investment, and this is needed urgently. The cost of energy is rising rapidly, leaving every single person in energy debt, leaving the most vulnerable yet again in debt in this country. I mean, there needs to be funding put aside invested immediately in this, as people are in fuel poverty. No SNAs in our country. I asked the Minister Donoghue last week about SNAs. He said, "Oh, next year." Next year is no good for people that need SNAs in school this year. There's no funding available for that in schools. They're telling me all over West Cork they're short of SNAs, where the capital seems to have no problem in getting it. But and we need pay also for co-action. They're closing their centre this week in West Cork, and there's no pay parity, and that's another issue that needs funding immediately.